It's been an exciting week of action in the land of hope and glory, and now we move on to the teen division from Swindon, United Kingdom, at True Function Training Ground. This is the World Ninja League Premier Series. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex Cunningham alongside Jack Anderson. Jack, we have seen an exemplary course from our course designers Dion Trigg and Millie Coward, but the amateurs kind of took them to task. 12 clears in the challenge course. I get the feeling this teen course is going to be a little bit tougher.
I think that's absolutely right, Alex. We saw some clears on the challenge course as quick as 1 minute and 10 seconds for a 3:15 time limit. So you know that we're going to be pushed. But Alex, let's remember what we're fighting for here. We're fighting for a top 4 spot to secure yourself a position in this Premier Series finals that will be airing from November 17th to 19th in Brooklyn, New York. So, Alex, it's incredibly exciting seeing the competitors we have so far, and I'm hoping to add some European competitors to the list here today.
And not only have we seen some world champions, Oliver Luttman is the defending champion in this division, but we've also seen some of these athletes move up into the elite division because of we've been using season 8 age cutoffs for Premier Series, and we're on season 9 of the regular season of the World Ninja League. And the athletes that moved up are competing right up there with the best elite athletes. So this is a loaded teen division.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the beauty of this competition is not only are we getting individuals from the US, but we're getting phenomenal team athletes from, we've had Australia so far, but if there's one thing that this UK competition has shown us, is that we're getting competitors from Poland, Germany, Italy, France, of course. So I'm excited to see who we add to the mix here today.
That is exactly what we were hoping for. We already have a little bit of international flair in the Premier Series finals, and I imagine that will continue here with this European field that's going to be qualifying here today.
Absolutely. And I think it's about time that we move into the format for today. For those who are tuning in for the first time, it's a very unique format, Alex, that we've introduced here for this Premier Series finals. So of course, we're going to start off with the placement course here today, which is much more of a speed course. It's very short and it follows that traditional format where if you fall, your run is over. But then that placement course will determine the run order for the big challenge course, which has had surprising numbers of clears in our amateur division. I don't know if we're going to see the same for this teen division, but you're allowed 2 retries on the entire course, a max of 1 per obstacle. It is that longer style course, and we typically see ninjas use at least 1 of those retries. And Alex, of course, what we're looking for at the end of the day is the top 4 ninjas in this division today to head over to the Premier Series finals.
Well, we will definitely be keeping track of the top 4 in the teen male division. Teen female division, based on my run order, is not going to have 4, but the cutoff will be completing at least 3 obstacles, just like it's been for other divisions that have not had more than 4 athletes. So Sophie Carter, kind of in a league of her own, but she has a goal to complete as well.
Absolutely. And we've seen time after time with perhaps smaller stacked divisions, they still do need to complete 3 obstacles on that challenge course, which has proved difficult for certain competitors. It's definitely not a walk in the park. But Alex, looking at this stacked lineup in the teen division, we've got 6 competitors there, 4 spots available. So we're going to be fighting it out as we move into our first competitor here, lining up on True Function Ninja. This is incredibly exciting here. Sophie Carter, our single female competitor for the teen division, now lining up this speed course that a lot of amateur competitors struggled with the time limit for.
Starting off with those first 2 obstacles, now onto the propeller swing. Looks like we have some cannonballs here. These were rings yesterday. Oh, now we got rings.
Yeah, and in the amateur division, we had a nunchuck, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what we've got for the elite division. Sophie Carter moving through well so far, coming onto the unstable beam. This dismount is incredibly awkward and difficult to maneuver. Now
The
20
unstable
seconds on the
bridge, a
clock.
longtime staple of Ninja. I want to say back in 2009 we first saw that obstacle. This is a
Yeah.
much longer and much heavier version of that element. But
And you can
Sophie's
see
through
that
it.
the time is now running down, though, Alex, with 5 seconds on the clock. It looks like Sophie's run is going to come to a halt at the floating boards here. And it looks like her time is up. She's come to realize it. But a great run, a couple of obstacles through there, shows that she could potentially complete the 3 obstacles, and we may see her onto the Premier Series finals.
Yeah, she definitely showed a lot of composure, a lot of poise. Completed those first 4 obstacles very easily, just struggling with that time limit, and that'll be something that's in the back of her mind for the challenge course.
Absolutely. And I think the competitors are going to be pushed for time coming into the actual challenge course based on what we just saw with the amateur division, which was one of the most dominant runs, like just dominant divisions that I've seen in a long time. But it will be interesting to see where we're going to get our competitors here today representing from. We've got Ben Freeman from, of course, the UK, age 14 at the moment. Let's see how he goes as our first elite teen male competitor, stepping up here.
Through those first 2 obstacles onto the propeller swing, getting caught up with that propeller, and we've seen that propeller has put some ninjas in knots all weekend long.
Absolutely, but now coming into the unstable beam here, again, just trying to get that dismount. It's a finicky one. It has been here since 2009, but it still trips up these ninjas.
And I love the urgency that Ben Freeman is showing right now, realizing that this time limit is tight and motoring through these obstacles as he's already almost through the floating boards.
Absolutely, with 2 obstacles to go here, we've seen people run across the balance beam. Ben's going to do exactly that. Now coming into the 15-foot warped wall, he's got what it takes, Alex. And we're going to see our first teen male competitor through with 10 seconds on the clock of 49.93. Very solid time.
Sub 50, well done.
That is what we like to see here. Just analyzing that run once again, we can see that very great finish there. And Alex, what that's going to be doing is throwing a lot of, emphasis on the other competitors to now try and go for that completion. With that pressure, they could be open to errors, and I guess we'll have to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, he basically quad-stepped through those balance pipes, taking only 1 step on each rail, running right through it. And that is a risky maneuver, something that if other athletes try to emulate, they could see themselves go out on that obstacle and run a little bit earlier in the challenge course.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how this one evolves. I noticed for the amateur division we had a 45-second time limit, and not jumping ahead, but when I think about the elites, I wonder what time pressure they'll be under as we now move into Lucas Brindley Kuroga, again from the UK here, representing the local True Function Ninja tournament, and now gearing up for the 3rd obstacle.
Onto the propeller swing, trying to get a good hold of that cannonball. Now he does. That cannonball can be a little bit finicky.
Now Lucas
Unstable
is
high beam
moving. He's moving with decent pace, Alex. He's definitely got to be aware of that clock here, and hopefully he can move through this unstable beam as soon as possible. This beam does not mean he's not carrying too much weight behind him, so it's hard to get this beam moving. But he's now looking for that dismount.
But it's good strategy. He touched back.
Ooh!
Just missed the dismount, but it was good strategy, lashaying through that obstacle. If you just try to force your way down, your momentum's going to be all messed up. You want to keep that swing going throughout that obstacle. And then just unfortunately dismounted maybe 1 swing too early.
That is absolutely correct. We've got Ryan Harsher, Harrison Daly, Vincent Morris, and Oliver Addy left to go here in this teen male division. And of course, Alex, this run order is going to be so important for determining the run order later. And we can see this is a US competitor, I believe.
Yeah, I saw Ryan Harsha's name on the run order. I thought it might be a mistake for a second, but Ryan Harsha is so committed to this sport. He's competed in over 100 WNL competitions, and that's just taking a baseline look at his standing. I'm sure it's even more than that. But Ryan making the trip over to the UK, I presume maybe some family over here, or maybe he's just that dedicated to the sport of ninja.
I wrote down a fun fact before I started today's live stream. He's flown over from the US for this competition. Just the dedication from Ryan, that is phenomenal.
Maybe
We've
somebody
seen
in the chat
athletes.
can let us know. But Ryan is just moving right through this. And
We've
right through the
seen
balance pipe as well, up to the warped wall. He's going to have the fastest time.
And he gets it with one arm, Alex. That was a close one. Ryan Harsher, what a great run. And he's looking confident in securing a top 4 spot there, Alex, for this challenge course. He's going to be perfectly seated.
Yeah, Dion is testing these athletes with the 15-foot warped wall in the placement course. I don't think we've seen a warped wall that high in any competition so far this season. And he's making them do the warped wall taller than the spec version. That's 14 and a half. This is in the placement course, so I imagine the challenge course is going to be quite challenging as we see our leaderboard so far. Ryan Harsha currently in first place.
That's absolutely right. And they're going to see that warped wall once again in the challenge course. It's one that caused a lot of other competitors to come unstuck in other divisions. As we now move back to more local level athletes, Harrison Daly from the UK, age 14. And he looks like he's on a mission, Alex.
Yeah, when you see an American go right before you and clear it the fastest time, I get the feeling these last few athletes are going to come in like a house of fire. Case in point!
What a move there. Absolute power behind him. He's flying through this course, Alex, and this is going to be looking to be a top time if he can find some composure on these floating boards.
Yeah, went a little bit too fast there trying to get to the third one. He'll get out of there, though. This is a little bit faster than Ryan's pace! And what did we say about the balance pipe? If you go too fast, it very well could cost you.
It's just those simple mistakes. You know, you try to be that little bit ambitious, and unfortunately, he doesn't have any retries under his belt. That's in the challenge course, so that's... Unfortunately, he was on pace for the fastest time, but now he's going to find himself in third spot and potentially running relatively early in this course, as the last two athletes are pretty phenomenal in this team division. We can just see there once again, Ryan Harsher with a time of 44 seconds. That's what's to beat. And now we're seeing the French athletes come in full force. We've seen them all over this weekend. Vincent Maurice coming from France, age 14. And these guys mean business. We see them at the World Cup every single year in full force. The most colourful team, arguably. And now Vincent is flying through this course.
The French team is so passionate about Ninja that Greg Schwartz, our MC at the World Championships, Greg and I had to form a human wall on stage when they accepted their award for Best Dressed Team because we were afraid they were going to knock over the trophies.
Well, we love to see it. They're always there, always showing their strength as a country, and Vincent is doing so well here.
Yeah, this might be faster than Ryan's time.
That's going to be close. I believe so. If my understandings are correct, that would put Vincent Morris at the top there. Regardless, first or second, that was a phenomenal run there.
Yeah, Vincent went through this course so fast. I tried to tell an anecdote, and then his run was over.
Well, we love to see the French athletes. They dominated in the amateur division, and hopefully you can see his fellow competitors there from previous divisions all cheering him on, and hopefully we'll see some of them in the elites as well later today.
There it is.
There it is, the French
by
flag.
Just under half a second, Vincent Maurice is going to be the first athlete on the placement course, assuming that our final athlete doesn't topple him.
Well, he's been placed last seeded for a reason. Oliver Addy, again, a local hero here in the UK, age 14. Hopefully he's going to be able to defend the title here at True Function Ninja, and we'll see how he goes here.
The trapeze slider and onto the propeller swing. That trapeze is quite a bit thicker from yesterday. Can humble you, but hasn't humbled any of these competitors yet, as Oliver onto the unstable beam.
Oh, this unstable beam, though, it's causing him difficulty as he tries to get that awkward dismount. Now the floating boards. This is something that cost a lot of people a lot of time in previous divisions, but Alex, one thing that's really standing out to me about the teens is they just don't seem to be struggling on these all too much. Really moving well here. Oliver Addy, no troubles on the balance beam. He's going to use that height to his advantage on this wall.
Threatening the top time. Climbs
Oh,
up.
that's going to be close.
When was the punch? No, he just missed it.
That could even put him in third place. It's going to be interesting to see. It does? Okay.
Yeah.
What a tight race for that top spot there. Oliver Addy can also be very proud of his run there. We're going to have a nail biter here in this challenge course, Alex, because truthfully, all these top competitors have set such dominant times, 1 second between the top three. Ben Freeman also getting that completion there. What a phenomenal set of runs.
Definitely a great performance out of these athletes. We're going to have France and the United States run the last two in the challenge course. Who would have thought?
Well, you love to see it, and I'm sure the UK has got an agenda for themselves to take out those top spots in the challenge course, which is where it actually matters, Alex. These, of course, having these well-seeded placements make a big deal of help, but anything can happen in that challenge course.
Well, as we progress over to the challenge course, let's take one moment to look over some of the highlights from that placement course. I want to start with Ryan Harsha. I did some math, 118 competitions, just counting regular season. That's not counting world championships. Ryan has competed in the New England region, all the way from mature kids now to young adult. And he is so dedicated to the sport that he's coming here to the UK to show these UK athletes what's up.
What an absolute machine. What a great family he has behind him to let him come out to these competitions and pursue his love for the sport. It's what we love to see. We've seen athletes dedicate themselves, but I don't know if any have done so quite like Ryan Harsha does, making that huge trip over to the UK. So great to see it, and great to see it's paying off for him.
And that'll bring us to Vincent Maurice, another athlete who's had to take a plane ride here. Coming over from France. They have had quite the contingent today.
Well, I'm sure they basically filled a plane with all the athletes that came over for this qualifier. Vincent Maurice, just one of many of the phenomenal French athletes here in this lineup this weekend. And he set the most dominant time here in this placement course by about half a second. So hopefully he can hold on to that coming into the challenge course.
It will be exciting to see that challenge course for sure. We do want to take a moment to thank some of our sponsors, though, before we head over to that challenge course.
Absolutely.
So we do have a little bit of a stop down. There we go. The World Ninja League Premier Series, as always, is powered by NinjaWorks, the ultimate in ninja timing systems. Such a game changer NinjaWorks has been. I mean, how else was I supposed to find that Ryan Harsh has done 118 competitions and NinjaWorks has been there every step of the way with accurate timings, as well as in-gym systems, buzzers, lights, and so forth, clocks. So for all of your timing needs, go to ninjaworks.com. And Jack, why don't you tell us a little bit about DGS?
Oh, absolutely. Well, NinjaWorks, of course, is powering our timing systems, but DGS is powering our athletes here. Of course, we can see Addie Herman, the 2023 world champion, is a DGS-sponsored athlete. DGS Ninja is not only responsible for sponsoring some of the best athletes in the World Ninja League, but also in providing us some of the obstacles that devastate our competitors, but also challenge them to their fullest. So if you're looking to become a DGS-sponsored athlete, please do get in contact with us. We're always working to make those connections. And once again, a big shout out to them. And of course, we have two awesome videos, Alex, that we're going to throw to now. The first is by one of the ninjas who is qualified for the World Ninja League Premier Series Finals. It's Enzo, and he's going to give us a message with Ocean Needs Everyone.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, CO and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my truck bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slap chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slap trucks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
And we can just see there the QR code if you would like to get 20% off with Slap Chalks. We just love to support ninjas such as those individuals that we've just shown on screen. One of my favorite advertisements, Alex, and I think we're going to start gearing up for what is something that's really exciting. We've got the challenge course coming up very soon. But
just
we can
as
just see...
Just as a reminder, you go.
I was just going to say that we can see the schedule here, of course, as Alex was just about to mention and I cut in. We do have the Elite Division here later today. We have some incredible lineups, but we still got the rest of the Teen Division ahead of us, Alex.
We're just so excited to get that Elite Division kicked off. Just so everybody knows, we have been running a little bit behind, so we're anticipating that'll start about 1:15 Eastern Time, 6:15 British Standard Time, and we have updated the YouTube live stream start time to reflect as such, which apparently it listed preteens this morning. That's on me. I'm the one who made that. But in any event, we will have the Elite Division starting just under 3 hours from now.
That's absolutely right. But now we've got the Teen Division challenge course coming up, Alex, and we've seen 6 phenomenal elite male athletes, 1 phenomenal teen female athlete, and I'm excited to see who we can find in our Premier Series finals coming up soon.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We saw this challenge course get beaten to a pulp by our amateur division. I think that besides elite males at Ferox, is probably the most clears that we've seen in a challenge course. 12 clears out of 18 athletes in that division.
I think we had something like 8 clears in a row on this challenge course. So it will be interesting to see if the course designers have made any adaptations, made it any more difficult here. And I think as we're looking at that run order, we can see that it's been established from that placement course. Some of those ninjas are going to be well placed. Sophie, of course, who is our only teen female athlete, Sophie Carter, age 13, from the UK, is going to be stepping up regardless. We need to see her through the first 3 obstacles here, Alex, if she is to make it through to the Premier Series finals.
And this second obstacle is no joke. The drop saw, you're going to have to hang on to that tiny cannonball through 2 drops, but she makes the dismount, and that sends her to Hanging Alley.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. This is the big one. If you make it through this obstacle, she will have a retry in her back pocket if she does need it. And we're going to find out, does she have the grip strength here to make it through to the Premier Series finals?
Yeah, these ledges are difficult, but thankfully she's allowed to top out on them. And finishing. Sophia got the job done, but now she has another job to do, and that's set the tone for our male competitors coming up next. Just missing that trampoline jump. She does have another try, and I think because of this challenge course format being new to the UK athletes, wondered maybe she thought her run was over.
Well, it's a new format to all of us here, and again, just not taking that trampoline has taken her by surprise there, just not having the bounce that she was hoping for, unfortunately, and that's going to close out Sophie Carter's run. But thankfully, we will see her in the Premier Series finals in November, and that's going to be a really exciting prospect there.
Yeah, on that trampoline, it looked like she was trying to go too far from the back. We have that exact model of trampoline at my home gym, Iron City Ninja, and it really will shoot you up, but only if you hit right in the sweet spot.
Okay, yeah, it's a common mistake of Australians as well. We don't train on trampolines necessarily, and it takes us by surprise. But now we're going to move into the teen female division. We got Lucas Brindley Kuroga. Teen male division, sorry.
Quite all right. Lucas making his way through the quintuple steps and onto the drop slider.
Now lining up, we can see he's got 3:30 on the clock here to complete this entire course. We've seen from previous divisions a lot of clears, and only time will tell if the same is going to be for the teen males.
Had a little bit of trouble reaching up to that rope, actually, but now he's making his way through the hanging alley.
Yeah, it's definitely a saving grace that they're allowed to grab onto the tops of those handles. If they just had to grab the ledges, it might be a different story.
Now for these teen male competitors, 3 obstacles not going to be good enough as we do have 6 athletes. And again, there is. He jumped too far back on the trampoline. You can kind of see that line, that horizontal line right where he's standing right now. That's right where you want to jump from. And it looks like he has the right idea this time, but he's going to have to build it up. There we go.
Yeah, it's good to see us past that point, but this is a big lâcher that proved difficult for previous divisions. And again, Lucas is going to be out on the fly lâcher. Our second competitor.
This is looking a little worrisome. That is a long lâcher you've got to make. And after the trampoline jump that our athletes are already 1 for 4 on. But at least now they know where to jump from, and hopefully we'll see that first bit go down. But that fly lâcher is so difficult.
Yeah, you've got to build up a great deal of momentum there in order to be well positioned for that. But hopefully as we come into the back end of this competition, we're going to see our athletes through to the latter end of this course. Harrison Daly, perhaps one of the most underrated competitors here today. We saw him smash out that placement course in record-breaking time, but unfortunately, he had a slip-up on the balance beam, so hopefully we won't see those slip-ups here. He does have 2 retries in the back pocket if he needs them.
And he is already blazing this course. He's been skipping elements from the jump, and he's going to skip that last hold as well. If we're going to see anyone beat the fly lâcher, this could be our man.
He's got power, that is for sure. Power in spades
look at
here.
that power. Look at the power.
Love to see it there. He even went for the quick dismount here. Now coming onto Globe Grasper. Harrison is looking to throw down the top time here. I think he really wants to put on the pace.
He is definitely picking up the pace, and he knows that the other athletes are coming after him behind him, especially after he fell early. And he doesn't know what he's going to need to do because there's 4 athletes behind him. So he is going out there and saying, you know what, guys? You got the better of me on the placement course, but try to beat this.
Yeah, this is pace like we've never seen it. It's important to remember he's only been going for a minute on this course now. He's keeping up with the amateur division. He's potentially going to set the fastest time we've seen all weekend. Harrison Daly with a minute 13 from my understanding. A minute 14, Alex. That is a phenomenal.
That would have been 3rd place in the amateur division, torching this course. And definitely getting revenge on that balance obstacle from the placement course.
Alex, we might have seen it right there. He might be our 2nd-seeded competitor in this challenge course, but that to me looks like a winning run.
Well, taking one more look, skipped the last step of the steps, skipped the last hold of hanging alley, and then essentially linked that dismount of fly lâcher. Only needed 1 backswing for an obstacle we've not seen anyone beat in this division.
Honestly, Harrison is going to be one to watch. I'm sure we're going to see him in the elite divisions in the future. You can see him up there. He is absolutely gassed with his run. He's happy. And I think the other 4 competitors are going to be shaking in their pants a little bit, Alex. That was a very quick run.
Well, they now know what they're going to need to do to qualify for the World Ninja League Premier Series finals in Brooklyn 4 weeks from today. The downside is that the thing you're going to have to do is beat this course really, really, really fast.
Absolutely. So it's a question of, do you want to go for that top 4 spot, or do you want to go for the 114 that they will need to beat? Well, it looks like Ben Freeman's trying to do both at once as he moves through to Hanging Alley with great pace so far. He's also got that same kind of body length as we just saw with Harrison, so he's using it to his advantage.
He is going to use that last hold. He did skip the first step, or excuse me, the last step of quintuple steps. Now on to fly lâcher. Definitely has the power, the length needed to get this very long lâcher. Looks like it's almost 10 feet.
And he
Ben
got
makes
it.
He's out of there.
Looking really... I was scared that he had a little bit of a lock-off in the arms there when he was going for that lâcher, but he connected well. Now coming into Globe Grasper. Hopefully he can use his upper body length here to his advantage.
Oh, but
But
look
it
at
looks
this
like he's going to
technique.
go...
This is a
Yeah.
little bit different from what we've been seeing.
It's definitely not the quickest way possible, but it's working for him, and whatever works is what's best on this approach. Now coming into pole grasper, one thing we didn't quite touch on, Alex, is just how slippery these poles are. These are...
Well, there you
Ben's
go, he just
making it look
slipped.
fine, but...
But he did
yeah,
get through.
competitors have struggled all weekend, including with this double spinner, because you spin.
He definitely has the right idea, though. Makes the lache, and there's the dismount. Just the worthwhile to go. We've already seen him beat it today. Around the bend, up the wall. There it
Easy
is. It is
peasy.
not going to be faster than Harrison's time, but it is going to be a tough time to beat. Nevertheless, 133.
Wow, look at these teens go. I mean, that to me is at least looking like a top 4 run here. As long as he's happy with that, I'm happy. I think all round he went for just so quickly through that course.
There's another look at that fly lache, just barely catching it. And then he had a little bit of a slip there on the pole grasper, but none of those really slowed him down. If anything, it was maybe the double spinner and that strategy on the globe grasper that cost him time. But very efficient through all of those obstacles, and 133 is going to be tough to beat. But Jack, that is not good enough yet to qualify for Premier Series finals, and that sounds weird, and that's just weird to say.
Yeah, it honestly does sound crazy for you to say it like that, because it feels like it should be enough. But so far we've only seen our UK competitors, and I believe we've got one more, but then we've got the French and we've got the US to step up to the plate. First and foremost, we've got Oliver Addy, our final competitor from the UK, the highest seeded out of the UK here today. Oliver is going to be looking to fly through this course here.
And indeed, that is what he is doing. He knows what he has to do. This challenge course has essentially become a speed course, just like it was in the amateur division. Of course, if you ask a certain someone from New England, every course is a speed course, but that's neither here nor there. Onto the fly lache. Let's see if he goes here, takes one more swing. He goes there, doesn't link the dismount, but he has great power. Going to take an additional swing here, actually, on that second. Wanted to be sure, and I don't blame him.
Well, Oliver is throwing down a great run so far and looking so smooth, Alex. This is just genuinely, it feels easy to watch. He's just moving through this way too well. Ooh,
Gliding
okay,
through he was gliding through those globes and then had to change up his hand placement. There he goes. Going to have to pick up some pace on the pole grasper if he wants to move into first. And that, again, sounds weird to say because he's flying through this course.
And his wingspan is perfect for the course like this. He's moving through well as he now comes into the second last obstacle. This double spinner, connecting the first one almost immediately, and he's looking strong on this second one. This is going to be a fantastic time here.
Is this going to be faster? It is not going to be faster than Harrison Daly's, but it will be faster than Ben's, and that will put him in the top 4 guaranteed, and he has clinched a spot in Brooklyn.
I mean, the quality of teen athletes that we are getting through at the moment is phenomenal. All of these individuals are going to be qualifying for the Premier Series finals, hopefully. And I know we're going to see them there putting down great runs in the finals in just a short month's time.
Taking one more look, he came out of the gates hot. Got a little bit hung up on Globe Grasper, if anything, and that might have cost him those 6 seconds. Nevertheless, really smooth through everything, really fast run, deserving of that top 4 spot.
That's absolutely right, Alex. I mean, just the consistency of clears that we're gathering now from this course. I think the course designers are going to have to take a second think before we step up into the elite division after this, Alex, because I know they're going to chew this one up if they're not careful, and we'll be seeing potentially sub 1 minutes. Who knows? Ryan Harsher, the man of the hour, flew from the US to be here today. He's looking for that top 4 spot, age 14. As Alex mentioned, some incredible statistics behind them. Alex, could you just repeat that statistic that you told us to say?
118 competitions in regular season WNL so far. It's a 7-hour flight from JFK to Heathrow, and this next minute or so is going to prove if he is going to be headed back home to Brooklyn to qualify for the Premier Series finals. This is a very important course run for Ryan, but so far making the most of it, gonna link the dismount, and now he's picking up the pace.
Now, Alex, you say he's done 118 competitions, and I think it's very clear that he has filled those hours in because, I mean, just a great display of technique from someone so young. He is just making this course look super easy at the moment.
Yeah, right through Globe Grasper, exactly the strategy we wanted to see. Hard to say what his pace is here on Pole Grasper, especially because he's grabbing really low. But he
Doesn't seem
makes
to
it
bother
through.
him
That
though.
was scary.
Yeah, he seems perfectly fine here. Oh, and it's the double spinner that's causing him to spin out a little bit here. But great time here. 110 down on the clock.
Is
It's
this going to
going to
be
be
a number one
close.
time? It's not, but he missed the wall. Oh my goodness. He's got to
going to
get
have
up
to go
this.
again. This could cost him.
Oh, he missed
No.
it again.
Does he
And
have
that
the energy? He's got to find it
appears
within him.
to let Ben Freeman into the Premier Series finals. This wall, he beat it in the placement course, but ran out of gas in the challenge course. 136, still a great run, but I don't know that that's going to be good enough.
I don't think Ryan knows either. He showed such a phenomenal run there. It was on such good time. And you can see the disappointment in his face. He's not sure if that's going to get him into the top 4, Alex. And with one more runner, I'm not too sure whether or not that's going to hold.
One more look at his run. He was on, if not one of the fastest pace through the first 8 obstacles. But an old classic, the Warped Wall, an obstacle older than he is, and just slipped out of his fingertips. If he would have caught it, he would have been top 4 for sure. But unfortunately, he is in 4th place with 1 run to go.
Okay, well, and it's scary to know that the highest seeded competitor is yet to come from France. And, well, we just have to cross our fingers there for Ryan, and it's all going to come down to this final run here. He's flown all the way from the US, but our final competitor has flown all the way from France. Vincent Maurice, age 14, representing the French team. He's got a great deal of support here at the Ninja Gym here today. And let's see how he goes. Just
Through the
attacking
first
at a
2
good
obstacles
pace.
quickly. Time to beat 114 for first place, 136 to get into Brooklyn, and to knock a hometowner out at that. But Vincent is looking like he wants to take the win home for France. Perfect linking technique.
Really lined that up well, almost to the point of it being risky, but Vincent knows his own body well. He knows how to fly through the air. He's not just going for a top 4 spot, Alex. It genuinely looks like he's going for that top time.
Through the first 6 obstacles very smoothly. This was faster than Ryan's pace to this point. Grabs a little bit higher up on the poles, a little less scary. Onto the double spinner, and let's see how he does. Links it. Can he link the dismount? He does! And this could potentially be the first sub-minute time in challenge course history.
Oh my!
I think he just missed it. He did. But that is the fastest challenge course we have seen in 7 Premier Series competitions in any division.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am gobsmacked. Not only has he beaten all the amateur division competitors, he beat them all by at least 10 seconds. Vincent Maurice, everyone, just throwing down such a dominant run. He had perfect links, perfect pacing, Alex. And we didn't even get time to tell any anecdotes because he was so quick through this course.
Yeah, I mean, making the flight over from France, spent less than 2 minutes on obstacles, but he did exactly what he needed to do to clinch that first place spot. Hopefully he comes to join us in Brooklyn because, maybe he can take these Americans to task.
I think he can. He's a phenomenal teen athlete. 1 minute, that would have been phenomenal to have seen a sub-minute. I didn't know it was possible, but Vincent Maurice has proven that it is more than possible here. Harrison Daly, Oliver Addy, and Ben Freeman, Ryan Harsher, and Lucas will now be knocked out of the Premier Series Finals qualifiers. And we have our top 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, the consolation for Ryan is that we have been inviting alternates if all 4 athletes aren't able to make it, as we already see some adjustments to the quad steps. So I think these course designers are realizing they're going to have to really make this course more difficult for the elites.
I think they
And
had 3 minutes 30 on the clock, and Vincent didn't even need a third
yeah,
of the time provided.
just absurd. I think we got to take a couple more looks at some of these runs. I'd love to start with Harrison Daly's run if we could cue
Yeah,
that up.
it's crazy to think just a short moment ago we thought Harrison's run was phenomenal, and which it is.
Oh, yes.
But now when you think it's still, he attacked this so quickly. It's important to remember he was second seeded coming into this challenge course and threw down a run that just put the pressure on all the other ninjas. He attacked this with a sense of ferocity that you don't see among many young competitors. He was really laser focused coming into this course.
Yeah, man, I look back at this run, and where do you save 13 seconds? I just don't get it.
Harrison also linked. He also did all the things perfectly. So yeah, I'm also asking myself that same question. More importantly, where does Vincent Maurice find the ability to do better than some of those older competitors we saw in the amateur division by even more than 10 seconds? It blows me away. That is a scary prospect for people in the Premier Series finals. I think we should just take a look at that run one more
Yeah,
time, Alex.
let's
With
let's
Vincent
take a look at
Maurice.
Vincent's run. And by the way, I do want to mention while we're queuing that up, Sophie Carter over on the team female side had an exemplary run through the first three obstacles, was able to qualify for Premier Series finals. Hopefully we will see her there as well. Definitely wanted to give her a shout out before we went off the air. But Vincent,
Oh,
I
the double
guess the
link.
double spinner was where he saved it because he linked that entire obstacle. And I
Yeah, we
don't
haven't
believe,
seen that.
yeah, nobody else has done that. Harrison took several backswings on it. So I guess that's where most of those 13 seconds comes from. The rest is just sheer efficiency.
I think it's just sheer efficiency. There's no other way around it. And we've got to look at Ryan Harsh's run one more time. It may not have been the fastest, but he would have been in that top four had it not been for that. And we would have seen him right up there with Harrison Daly. Ryan Harsher, what a phenomenal run. And just the commitment to this sport. You love to see it at such a young age.
Taking another look at his run, he definitely would have been top four if not for that pesky warped wall. Something he beat in the placement course, but just a slip. There, the fingertips, it just slipped out. And unfortunately,
It
that will
looks like
cost
he
him the
had it.
guaranteed spot. Like I said, though, we have been reaching out to alternates, and Ryan can pretty much throw a stone from where he lives and hit Ferox. So very possible that we will see him as we see the placing course run order. This is very possible that we'll still see Ryan at Ferox, but I definitely want to see some European representation there as well.
That's absolutely right, Alex. Well, we've just got to take our hats off to Vincent Maurice there. A dominant placement course run, a dominant challenge course run, first in the placement course, first in the challenge course, and he's going to be one to watch. And it's a really exciting to see these French athletes in particular just show up in full force. And which that kind of brings us to where we're going to head into the future, which is the elite division, which we have coming up in a couple of hours.
That's right. It will be coming up. We have set the live stream to start at 1:15 Eastern Standard Time, 6:15 here in the UK. Jack, that's early in the morning for you. We won't need to do too much math there, but you've been an absolute champion hanging out with us early in the morning down under there.
Oh,
But
absolutely. It's always a pleasure to be here.
we have some spectacular elite athletes in what will be the final wave of competition before the finals. And we have two exemplary elite male athletes that we want to highlight for you. The first is Viktor Mikhailov, the ninja sculptor, they call him. He has been a world traveler of this sport. If I'm not mistaken, born in Russia, generally applies his trade in England. Right now, I think he currently lives out of Germany. He's been on all three of their television shows, and you can see he has the speed and the strength to take down any course. So if Dion wants to give this young man a challenge, I think the elite division course is going to have to be a little bit more difficult than what we saw for the teens.
I think so. Just seeing him there is impossible. But of course, we've got his fellow counterpart, Hollis Lanford, just again a phenomenal athlete, Alex.
And this young man, and I can definitely say a young man for him, I'm pretty sure he's only 16. He takes after the American style of training. You can see the batarangs, you can see the tech and the explosiveness that he shows here on his home rig. He actually competed at the World Championships back in June, made it to stage 2 in the strongest ninja division, unfortunately came undone on throwback. The last obstacle was stage 1, like so many Europeans did, but ever since then he's kind of taken that as a opportunity of improvement. He has really, like I said, been training in that American style, and we can see there it has paid off for both of these competitors. Only generating swing obstacles have taken them out in Season 8 of the World Ninja League.
Well, it's a very exciting prospect that we're going to be able to see them clash. And of course, we've mentioned once again, the time has been adjusted to 1:15. It's going to be an incredibly exciting matchup. Not only do we have those two athletes, but we have a bunch of others all in the mix competing for top 4 spots to see them in the Premier Series finals November 17th. It's going to be a big showdown, Alex.
Yeah, and one athlete we didn't show in that comparison, because she's not going to be competing against the elite males, she'll be competing against the elite females, is Beth Lodge, arguably the top female athlete in the UK, top female ninja athlete, that is. If you wanted to list the 3 best female ninjas outside of the US, I would accept any order of Beth Lodge, Steffi Edelman, and Olivia Vivian. That is elite company, and Beth Lodge is going to be showing us why she belongs in that conversation in the elite female division.
Absolutely. It's not going to be one to miss. And that's going to conclude our teen division. But everyone, please stay on board. We will be back very soon with the elite division.
Catch you in about 2 hours' time. We'll see you then.